Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all well. I hope you all had a great Christmas, a great Christmas Eve, a great New Year's Day, a great New Year's Eve, a great day after New Year's happened. I hope it was all incredible. Hope you all took care of yourself and had tons of fun, because you know, that's just how it is. Welcome back to another video. As always, the cryptocurrency space is experiencing some rather weird news, which we're going to be going over. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. We are currently, like right now in this moment, experiencing a very weird price movement, something or other within the cryptocurrency space. There's a lot of discussion, as you might have imagined, as to where prices are going to be going over the course of this year. It says, just in, Bitcoin's price bottom approaching fast, time to buy the dip? Question mark. 6 hours ago, no more than 6 hours ago, for some reason, cryptocurrency prices collapsed. I don't know what other word to use. There are many coins that fell by 12, 13%, and then 45 seconds later began to pump. So there are a lot of altcoins right now that are up anywhere between 2 to 18%. There isn't immediately any news as to why. But a lot of the price news floating around right now is incredibly optimistic for where things are, how long they've been that way. You're going to be seeing a lot of talk from a lot of people about how long we've been in this downtrend of prices and how we haven't dipped further. This is a very big topic that's also floating around as far as we're roughly around $16,000 per Bitcoin, but we could be between 10 to 12,000, or we could be at an $8,000 Bitcoin. And the fact that we have not dipped that low in price means that we have probably hit a bottom for Bitcoin. A lot of people are talking about why 2023. I mean, there's roughly 2.5 coins that are being spoken about. But the ones that are most popular, it says Bitcoin will outperform all other assets in 2023 due to 3 reasons. I think the summary, if I can remember, basically had to do with Bitcoin being number 1. It's if the market recovers, Bitcoin will recover the most because Bitcoin should be higher. The amount of attention that we've seen on Bitcoin, especially in 2022. Oh, happy 2023, everyone. It sounds weird to say anyway. What was the other thing? I think the other thing had to do with the Federal Reserve. It's expected that they're going to be raising interest rates by 0.75%, so 75 base points, over the course of this year. And they're expected to do this in, I believe, 3 different batches. They're expected to. 3 different batches of 0.25 until we get to March. I think what we're currently waiting on right now is sometime this week we should be getting consumer price index things for the levels of inflation over December. Remember, like mid-December, we got what it was for November. Now, apparently, we're waiting for what happened in December as an indication as to what the Fed might actually do. There's a large, gargantuan amount of Litecoin news everywhere. This is the year that Litecoin has its halving, unless I'm mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's summertime of this year. It says renowned crypto analyst sets Litecoin's next price target at $80. That doesn't seem too difficult. I think Litecoin's all-time high wasn't it $300 or $400? Anytime that we hit a number before when there was actually less hype in the market just tells me that we can hit it again if we have any other type of significant hype flowing through the market at any given time. It says Litecoin on the rise as it sets for a bullish 2023. I think a lot of people are expecting major things from Litecoin. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to a $150 or a $200 Litecoin as we got closer to the halving, which is usually how, once again, things end up working out for Bitcoin as well. If you missed the last couple of videos, this is why a lot of people are believing that this year could be quite significant for Bitcoin. It's usually the year leading up to the halving, or even the time frame within the halving, that gets people, to start thinking about buying the coin a lot more because the halving is near. Next year is Bitcoin's halving. It's 2023. Therefore, people are expecting more hype to re-enter the Bitcoin market. Also flowing through price news as well. There's a lot of discussion, even more than before. I know it's been every day. As far as the lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC, a lot of larger crypto is not analysts, like figureheads within the space, the billionaires who sit on stage and yada yada. They're now seemingly, comically, all on the side of Ripple, when I told you they would be before, but everyone has to try and save face. The idea being, years and years ago, these people were spreading the same propaganda that we hear now about Ripple and XRP being terrible and horrible. But now they realize that they actually need Ripple to win the lawsuit, or the other coins that they've been promoting are also going to slam down in price as well. There's apparently a whole bunch of things going on online where people are talking about and discussing and looking through the case and how likely an outcome is for the first quarter of this year. Will it happen sometime in the summer? A lot of people were predicting or thinking that the SEC might try not to settle in court at all, or they may try to do something outside of court, simply because I think if there is a settlement in some sort of way that Ripple is trying to get from the court, that they've been asking from the judge, then documents would have to be made public, and the SEC doesn't want these documents to be made public because they're corrupt. So this is kind of the news that's been going around, but it has affected XRP's price. There was a dip, like I told you, 6-something hours ago, and now prices have popped back up once again, and XRP, at least when I looked at the prices, it was one of those coins that was performing rather well. I assume off of the basis of this news, a lot of people and a lot of lawyers and stuff like that on Twitter are constantly talking about when this lawsuit is going to end. And if it does end sometime, especially early this year, they're expect major movements for altcoins all going up, as they seemingly then know how to elude the SEC. Also in price news as well, this is something that you're going to be hearing a lot over the course of this year, and I think it's more of a pre-prediction than anything else. A lot of people are expecting the Federal Reserve to continue with their current course of monetary policy as far as raising interest rates, but once again, we know that this cannot last forever. However, a large number of analysts, I think, are throwing information out there as like I said, a pre-preparer for everyone to get ready for an economic slowdown, simply because we have seen over the course of last year that this slowdown was coming. This is nothing surprising or new. Did you not live out the entirety of last year? But now we have situations where, if you missed it about 10 days ago or so, Japan, I think, rose rates for 10-year yield bonds. I think that's what it was. Japan is typically and has been historically known as a very stable economy. They were also completely unmentioned, if you remember, over the course of 2022. As far as inflation, they usually always have their economy relatively in check. And them raising bond rates was an indication to a lot of other people that they may start experiencing inflation as well. There's an economic slowdown in China because, the list is actually far too long. I would actually implore, if you have a couple of minutes yourself during the course of the day, to look up why that country is slowing down. It's just, 30 years of mismanagement and terrible economic policies that they simply believed would continue on with everything else that they've been doing, and it's not. The United States, the European Union Central Bank, and the UK Central Bank end of December, a couple of weeks ago, all rose their interest rates as well at the exact same time in preparation to try and get inflation also under control. And this is why the International Monetary Fund is now warning of a tough year ahead for the world's economy. Basically meaning that a lot of GDPs are expected to shrink. But if governments want to continue to get things under control, if everyone's tired of seeing their shopping lists and grocery bill being double the price, this is apparently what they have to do. The craziest part is that this is only going to happen again in the next 15 years because it keeps happening over and over. I think just this time we are hyper experiencing a large amount of inflation, but this has all happened before. It happens, it's cyclical, same as everything else. Michael Burry warns inflation will return. A lot of people are looking at what's going to be happening with the Fed's rates, what's going to be happening with the consumer price index that we are supposed to be seeing, I think, sometime over the course of this week. Is that also it? Yeah. And the U.S. stock market is actually closed today because they're using the extra day as a holiday. So the first and then the second, they also have off. So tomorrow we should be getting some stock movements as well. But this is why it was a little bit confusing to me, because crypto prices are up while the U.S. stock market is completely closed. So I thought that quite fascinating that we're actually moving by ourselves as opposed to the magnetic movements of the U.S. stock market. That's all the price news that we have for right now. A lot of people are very optimistic for Bitcoin's price over the course of this year. It has a lot of different factors. For Litecoin, because of its halving. This is also, I don't have it in here, but this is also the year that we are going to be hearing a lot more about the flippening. People believe if Bitcoin does well, Ethereum will do weller, and that will be a major topic as well as far as Ethereum's price recovering and potentially, no one knows, flipping the price of Bitcoin. That's all the price news. And yeah, let's move on. Okay, sure, why not? This keeps happening. News. In a message recently posted on Telegram, lead developer Satoshi Kusama said that everything is near, referring to an upcoming release. Notably, Kusama also teased the community with some surprises without going further into detail. Shiba Inu news is quite present nearly every single day. Over the last 2 months or so, the developers of the coin or the developers of whatever in that space have constantly been announcing that big things are coming, but then big things don't actually happen. And a lot of people within the space are getting quite annoyed. So I was quite surprised this morning to see that there was another announcement of something big happening. And the last multiple times there wasn't actually anything. As reported by You Today, Kusama recently had a meeting with the developers from the Unification Foundation regarding Shibarium. The Shiba Inu community has been eagerly waiting for the launch of Shibarium? I don't know. Since it was first announced, I think sometime in the summer. I think this is meant to be their layer 2 chain solution. Think of like Polygon, but not Polygon. It has like a dog's face on it. Still, members were disappointed earlier last month, December, when a special countdown tweet from Shiba Inu's official account did not result in any major news. I think they were updating their website, but they had a countdown and they were like, get ready, guys, because it's about to get real. So that's a little weird. This was also quite it's always Shiba Inu upgrade news and Shiba Inu burn news that ends up making it into the spotlight every single day within the cryptocurrency space. And then for those of you who sit there wondering why, because I'm sure I heard someone go, but why? There have been many charts, especially over the course of 2022, you can find them online, where people were trying to figure out, my back is killing me. This is the worst thing in the entire world. I flipped my mattress. It did not work. I flipped it back. It felt like I was laying on rocks. So if I sound a little bit crazy, it's because of that. A lot of people were polling and taking numbers last year as to the most popular coins in North America, in Europe, and in parts of Asia. And it was always Bitcoin, Ethereum, Shiba Inu, Cardano, and Dogecoin. So this is, I guess the proof is in the news pudding, or whatever somebody would say. That's the Shiba Inu news. Apparently something else is coming. I hope they actually get it right this time, because you can't have a countdown, hype everyone up, and then it's just for like a new tab on the website. I don't even know how someone thought that was. All right, moving on. In the most spoken about news of the day, Bitcoin Core developer Luke Dashjr, that is Dashjr, Dashjr, on Monday said his PGP key had been compromised. resulting in the theft of around $3.5 million worth of Bitcoin. While crypto Twitter finds whether the hack was real or a boating accident to save tax, another Bitcoin Core developer, Peter Todd, confirmed the hack was real and happened due to security negligence. So, one of the major developers of Bitcoin, for those of you who don't know, Bitcoin years ago was usually referred to as Bitcoin Core. It was the known name of it, and then eventually became like a really weird term that other people who tried to fork and make other fake Bitcoin, such as Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's Vision, that they then began to use to call Bitcoin as like, well, this isn't the real Bitcoin. It's called Bitcoin Core. Whatever stupid stuff that they were doing all those years ago. So there is a Bitcoin Core development team. They make sure that the core, the main chain, remains intact, isn't changed, always, has other layers floating around it that are what have you. The point is, one of the main developers, who apparently has a very strong presence on Twitter, announced that he had been hacked and that he lost 200 Bitcoin. Almost immediately after, tons of people began to say that he was lying, and they were saying that he did it because he was trying to save money on his taxes. And this is where you keep seeing that term boating accident, which I've never heard before, which I think is just a terrible way to even say something, as it. I think people lack general forms of sympathy around the world. So this was incredibly popular. Changpeng Zhao and many other crypto industry people announced that they're willing to help in any way that they can, except for giving him money. Apparently, it's more so they'll look to see where the coins are moving. If they ever hit a cryptocurrency exchange, then they'll stop it. Apparently, he said that his PGP key, which apparently was hot and not cold, from what I'm reading around, the difference would be a cold wallet would be like your ledger that isn't connected to the internet. It simply lays somewhere. That a hot wallet would be something that's kind of always on. It's usually on your computer. It can be accessed at any time. There's no need to put any key security verification things or whatever. Apparently that had 200 Bitcoin inside of it, and he was hacked in some sort of way, which we don't know how. This is very popular for two reasons. One, like three actually, is multiple things. He's a Bitcoin Core developer. People assumed that he would have protected his Bitcoin more in some sort of way than he did. It was a rather large loss at the exact same time. It's also popular news because people think he stole them himself, that he simply is lying for tax reasons, which I don't really think anyone would. I feel like, here's my opinion, you simply would sell them off without telling people that you lost money. I don't think this person is trying to get money from other people. I also don't know them. I would simply assume if this person was trying to do something with taxes, they would probably just sell off their Bitcoin as opposed to making an entire fiasco about it. So I don't really know what more to say about this, but I found about 15 different websites all talking about the exact same thing. Bitcoin Core developer claims to have lost 200 Bitcoin in a hack. As always, if it can happen to them, it can happen to you as well. So if you are at all afraid, which I'm sure many people are, of your coins being hacked or stolen or taken away, this is why I mentioned before, I myself, I think I have 4 or 5 Nano ledgers. I've been using Ledger for a while. There's a reason why I say it, because a lot of people simply think that it only happens to larger organizations or DeFi platforms or all these other things. If it can happen to like one of the, in here we go, air quotes, one of the higher ups, the people who are actually like coding and developing Bitcoin, then it can happen to anyone. So I don't assume that this will need to develop any further. This was the most popular news story of the day. Everyone's talking about it. Bitcoin Core developer loses 200 plus Bitcoin in a self-custody hack. Changpeng Zhao reacted, and he said, "Oh no, that's terrible. I'll try and help you trace the coins, but we'll see what ends up happening." Rightio. Let's move on. Also this was very popular news, and I think I understood why. Michael Saylor, a Bitcoin maximalist, stated on Wednesday that MicroStrategy had purchased another 2,395 Bitcoin. As of the 27th of December, According to an SEC filing, MicroStrategy has roughly around 132,500 Bitcoin in their possession, which it purchased for over $4 billion at an average price of $30,000 per Bitcoin. So, MicroStrategy, if you've missed it at all, I doubt it. You should know exactly who MicroStrategy is. They're a gigantic company, and Michael Saylor is known as one of the largest Bitcoin holders on the planet. They have kind of reshifted the entirety of their marketing and what they do as a company, basically just focusing on Bitcoin. Like completely. Like there's no other, that's kind of the end of that sentence. Like they really only just care about Bitcoin. MicroStrategy's Bitcoin acquisitions have traditionally been seen as an optimistic indicator of the price of Bitcoin in 2019 and 2020. Anytime. It was a great time. Anytime people bought tons of Bitcoin, we saw Bitcoin's price go up by 8%. Why? Because that's how supply and demand works. If you know there's not a lot of something and a company has bought another 15,000 of it, well, people go crazy and go, oh no, there is less Bitcoin. Now price go up. But that's not what happened in 2022. While this information has been released, the Bitcoin price has not changed much because everyone's doing something else in the corner. Between the 1st of November and 21st of December, MicroStrategy spent around $42 million buying 2,395 Bitcoin. In addition, here's the part that scared a lot of people. On the 22nd of December, for tax purposes, MicroStrategy sold around 704 Bitcoin at an average price of $16,700. This made them around $11 million in cash. MicroStrategy had never before sold any Bitcoin. The very next day, MicroStrategy paid $13 million and bought 810 Bitcoin. So they sold 704 Bitcoin and then repurchased 810 Bitcoin. So they bought more than they sold off. And a lot of people were really scared as to why they were selling it. If you haven't missed it, 2022 was a terrible year. Let's be completely honest with ourselves at this point. If you had a great year, I give you the loudest golf clap you're ever going to get. It was terrible for many different reasons, but also for making money. A lot of different companies, especially those who are exclusively for cryptocurrencies or for Bitcoin, lost an enormous amount of money. Everyone expected Bitcoin's price to go up last year. Every single person, especially even just from a supply and demand side of it. Tons of Bitcoin were bought and whales were accumulating massive amounts, and then prices still went down. So a lot of these companies found themselves in a situation where they did have to sell. They did have to relinquish some of their coins. We had a lot of people who were mining Bitcoin as well who announced we have to sell off a huge portion of coins. Why? Because Bitcoin no longer became profitable for them to hold. They had to sell off some of it to pay their electricity costs. So the MicroStrategy news that they repurchased more Bitcoin after they sold off the previous Bitcoin is the news that people wanted, or everyone was super excited about this like just a day or two ago. I wonder what this year has in store for the cryptocurrency market. Normally, we only get pretty good news, and I say pretty good news as it could be better, but it's usually never anything completely terrible, except for that 8-week period where everyone was trying to scare everyone else over Sam Bankman-Fried. See what that did to the market? Yeah, So cool. MicroStrategy bought more Bitcoin. I'm sure they will buy more because they now hold, for those of you not looking at the screen, one company holds 132,500 Bitcoin, and the CEO of MicroStrategy, I think he also has over 100,000 Bitcoin. So I just assume that they're going to keep on buying because, that's a huge amount of BTC. So cool. Wonderful. Yeah. Let's move on. Also in quite continuously popularly popping up over and over again news. Sebastian Guillemot, co-founder and CTO of the crypto ecosystem development team DC Spark, summarized 2022 and provided plans for 2023. Given that the team's passion is Cardano, where it has had time to work on what they're calling the Flint wallet. I don't understand why they did that. And the Milkomeda protocol. Plans for the blockchain were revealed by the developer. So if you, long story short, Cardano is back at it again. For those of you who were here and were not here in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021, Cardano is known as the development coin. And I'll throw the word slow in there because Cardano has historically been, for as long as we've had it, been the coin that always has the most amounts of things happening on it, i.e., we're going to make this, we're going to have that, there's going to be this, you're going to have that, we're going to make this, we're thinking about doing that, and this is also going to happen, and that's also going to take place, and you better wait because this one's also coming as well. We always hear about 18 different development things that are going to be happening on Cardano. It's just usually that they end up taking a very long time for them to actually come to fruition. So we heard last December they're working on JED, DJED, the stablecoin. They're working on, I think, an NFT platform. They're working on some type of a metaverse thing. I don't remember. There's also what's the other thing? Is it Ouroboros? There's some other ancient sounding entity thing that's also going to be another upgrade for Cardano. And there was a fifth thing that was also being taken place there as well. So now the team from DC Spark, who works on Cardano, has also announced for 2023 ZK Rollups Layer 2 launch, GameFi Layer 2 launch with Paima Studios, Ethereum Virtual Machine Layer 2 Milkomeda decentralization, and the first paper on Layer 2 R&D. Is that Rats and Dragons? I don't know why not write out the whole word. He says it's all going to come very fast. Listen, once again, we've heard that thousands of times. If you were not here in 2017, 2018, 2019, all of Cardano's upgrades and updates were supposed to have taken place at the beginning of 2018, and we just got them at the end of 2021 or over the course of 2022. According to Guillermo, DC Spark's goals for the new year are to launch zero-knowledge Layer 2 rollups, which continue the trend of recent months on ZK protocols. Okay, sure. However, the developer does not specify whether to expect the innovation on Cardano, so perhaps it will be a new independent project. Okay. Other goals are to launch a GameFi that operates on the Milkomeda network. In addition, the developer has noted the goals of achieving decentralization of the protocol, which operates on the Ethereum virtual machine. And then it says more. There's always a lot going on. So I was expecting this for a while. I made jokes about it multiple times last year. I was waiting for Cardano has 18 things coming up news, because that was one of the main topics years ago. You know, Cardano has all these things because it usually, I mean, it's smart, but also very risky. Many coins only announce when they have something happening or coming up, 3 weeks before it actually happens. Cardano, in every sense of the word, make sure to announce that 95 things are coming, but they never really say when. And they just kind of end up popping up. And this is, I think this has aided in the longevity of the project. If you're always waiting for something new people will also always be getting into the project. They do eventually release the updates. It's just a matter of time before they end up happening. So, also, I refused to add this in. Charles Hoskinson also got into a fight with someone else, and I had zero time for it. Charles Hoskinson gets into a fight with everyone every single day. So I was expecting New Year, new him, but apparently not. That's the Cardano 2023 DC Spark development team. Apparently has a whole bunch of new stuff coming for Cardano on top of the other stuff that we're also expected to be getting over Q1 of this year. News. All right. Let's move on. Also in the news as well, the United Kingdom is going to be enforcing a tax exemption. Yeah, when you use the word enforcing, it's usually something negative, but they're going to be having a tax exemption for foreign investors, that's anyone who doesn't live there, purchasing crypto through local investment managers or brokers starting on Sunday. The tax break, announced in December, is part of the Prime Minister's plans to turn the United Kingdom into a crypto hub, which is surprising because for about 5 or 6 years, they hated everything crypto. They were the people who kept on announcing over and over that crypto was the worst thing in the entire world and needed to be banned, and they were stopping cryptocurrency ads and cryptocurrency companies. Remember when all the banks in the United Kingdom refused to work with cryptocurrency companies? I remember because I go over the news every single day. They said this exemption is an important factor in attracting global investors, meaning foreign investors won't be brought into UK tax simply by appointing UK-based investment managers. Are people taxed when they invest in the UK? I don't live in the UK, so I don't know this. But I assume there's a tax exemption because if I had invested money into the UK or gone through a broker, why would you tax someone for buying something through a broker? Shouldn't the tax... Okay. The government's tax arm, the HM Revenue, I assume that's His Majesty's. Listen, Revenue and Customs said in an email to CoinDesk to build upon the UK's position as an investment management hub. Okay. This exemption has been extended to include crypto assets so that funds which include them aren't put off from appointing UK managers. Oh, I get it. So for those of you who missed it, and watch a documentary on this because there's a lot of them, people found out in 2021, the end of 2021, and all of 2022, that apparently, we knowingly, a large portion of the money that flew into the UK economy over the last 10 to 15 years was from the place that's above China, and allegedly an enormous portion of that money was bad. That's the word that I'm going to use. So a lot of businesses, because of Brexit and the revelation from last year and the year before, have kind of turned people off in investing in the United Kingdom. I watch UK economy news nearly every single day. Like you wouldn't believe how prominent it actually is. And monetarily, you can look it up. The UK's not doing too hot, and they're not expected to do too hot for, the next 2 to 5 years. That's not a fake number as well. So they're probably using this as a way to get extra people to do business in their country. But I mean, if you can do business locally in your own country to purchase cryptocurrency through a literal local investment manager in your own city, state, county, or country, why would you do business in the United Kingdom when it's probably already going to be tax-free for you to do so on your own terms? But now you can do it in the UK with a tax exemption because they probably need the money. The usual idea is if you are doing business in the UK, it's because you plan on spending money within the United Kingdom. So that's their plan for that. So this wasn't that popular news. It's also really weird because it probably only pertains to like institutional investors. The only time you would have to go through an investment manager is if you are trying to invest more than 5 to 10 million pounds at any given time, or a broker. You simply would go to Coinbase. Even if you're trying to buy like $500,000 worth of crypto, you would do it on a cryptocurrency exchange and then even, take some of the money off, or have like a 5-factor authentication, or simply have it on some type of a cold storage, something with a company. So cool. It's cool that it took them all these years to finally realize that they could have made money from the cryptocurrency market, but that's neither here nor there. So good luck with your weird laws. All right, let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Martin Steuer, Bodie McBoatface, Sam Ratter, Dotha Diddy, Manny Cryptos, Crypto Gambino, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad. And let's move on. Empire Queen, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben Arachno, Dave, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way, Lay, Mobarazi, VB Nerd 21, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Pat Ternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Adam Graysick, Wise 9 Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Paxis, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara, Machonisa, and on Crypto with Lionel. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you very much who is still here listening after all these years. I think I started this channel in 2016. That is, if you had told me in 2016 I would have a daily cryptocurrency news channel, I would have thought you were absolutely out of your mind. Thank you to everyone who left a like, a comment, or has subscribed. Bitcoin is currently up by 1.16%. Here's that dip I was telling you about, and then the subsequent movement higher. I don't know what happened. Ethereum is up by 1.7% as well. XRP is up by 2%. This up was a lot dramatic before. This down, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like everything completely slammed, and then seconds later moved on back up. Dogecoin is up by 3%. Cardano is up by 3%. OKB is up by 11%. It's also on $67 million worth of trading volume. That's not a lot at all. Polygon is up by 2.7%. Litecoin is up by nearly 7%. It is the beginning of the year, and already the halvening hype is quite prominent. Polkadot is up by 4%. Solana is up by 12%. I assume off of just hope and a prayer, because Solana hasn't been doing well for the last couple of months. Uniswap is up by 2%. Avalanche is up by 4%. Chainlink is up by 2%. Cosmos is up by 5%. Anything else crazy? ApeCoin is up by 6%. Algorand is up by 5%. VeChain Thor is up by 2%. Internet Computer is up by 4%. Terra Luna Classic is up by 3.3%. Yeah, really weird jump in market prices. I wonder what did it, because it wasn't the US stock market. So fascinating indeed. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. Hope you all are having and have had a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you had a great time off, because we all need it. You can't work forever. It doesn't make any sense. It just destroys your body. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, commenting, and or subscribing. And I will there's also a new money rules video, I believe, coming today as well. I'm not relaunching the channel, because the channel's always been there, but I'm going to get a lot more consistent when it comes to doing money rules, because a lot of people have been asking. Thank you all once again. And yeah, see you all soon. See you.